This is Jane. This is Jane's friend, Mark. Jane and Mark are typical American teenagers. They attend the local middle school. Jane and Mark own cell phones, just like 88% of American teenagers between the ages of 13 and 17. Jane and Mark were 2 out of 1,060 teens surveyed by the Pew Research Center in 2015. Jane and Mark text like 91% of American teens who own a cell phone. Jane and Mark send an average of 30 texts per day. Jane most likely sends at least 10 to 20 more texts per day than Mark. Now meet Miss Hall. Miss Hall has been teaching English for over a decade. Miss Hall has read and graded a lot of students' writing. Lately, Miss Hall has become concerned over the amount of texting lingo that she sees in her students' writing. It doesn't seem that any correction she has made on their papers has made a difference. So there's one question plaguing Miss Hall's brain. Is texting taking a toll on our students' writing? Miss Hall says yes. It has to be. But the research says no. Here are the findings of Miss Hall's research. Miss Hall first set out to find out exactly what texting is. According to the sources, texting is fingered speech. Texting mimics the speed of speaking as it is a new way of writing. Therefore, texting has developed its own grammar. So with that being said, is texting leading to writing mistakes? A study conducted by Coventry University shows that the use of texting lingo or texting slang has no long-term negative effects on students' writing. On the other hand, texting has been shown to have a positive effect on conventional spelling. Drew Singel at Penn State conducted research after receiving poorly written text from his 2 nieces. He found that there is evidence of a decline in grammar, but attributes that to learned behavior. He says that when teens receive text with poor grammar, they often use the same types of mistakes in their own text. This, coupled with teens' inability to switch back to proper grammar, influences their poor choices in formal writing. In another study, Nina Kemp shared that it is our job as parents and educators to teach our students the difference between informal language that is used in texting and on social media and formal writing that is used in school. She also says that the violations that are being made while texting, spelling, omissions, etc., are not a reduction in the student's ability to write. Texting in and of itself is a new writing skill. Finally, are there any negative effects from using textisms and social media in terms of students' writing or performance? On the contrary, a study done by Alloway and 3 colleagues has actually shown that students who use social media have sharper working memory and higher test scores in verbal ability, working memory, and spelling. So the real question now becomes, what now? What can we do as educators to help our students? Miss Hall has decided to tackle the problem head on, and instead of adding to her frustration, she's going to use the technology to her advantage. Here are some of her tips. She's going to allow students to use texting lingo to spark thinking during pre-writing activities. She is going to use blogs and other chat features to talk about literature. She is going to use activities like Twitter summaries to help students write more concisely. She's going to use their violations as a springboard to teaching about proper communication. Miss Hall is hoping that what other teachers are saying about using technology will happen in her classroom. Technology has made it easier to edit and revise. Sharing work is easier. And finally, the internet has encouraged more learning than ever before. Instead of fighting, let's embrace technology.